So self-defense isn't just about what happens before, it's not just about preventing something from happening, it's also about surviving it while it's happening and then what to do afterwards, okay? With our experience in trauma, in the world of trauma, we really, really, really want to put some useful information out there about what to do afterwards to help mitigate against long-term negative emotional impact of a traumatic situation. So the first thing that I want to say is, you might be, if spiking has happened to you or someone you know, it's likely that they could be waking up in an unfamiliar place, okay, having a feeling of what the fuck just happened last night. So the first thing I would say is to just like calm a little bit of that panic, okay, so we can, because we might still be in a dangerous situation if we've woken up in somebody else's house. Okay, it would be good if we can get in a kind of clear mindset to deal with and problem solve with what's going on right now. So first thing I would say is take some deep breaths, okay, focusing on the exhale, okay. Why we focus on the exhales? Because the exhale is the body's break, okay? Exhaling slows the body down, helps us get more present, okay? Also, if we have a lot of kind of anxious energy, like some big deep exhales can help expel that energy from the body. Also, Peter A. Levine would say to shake your body off too, okay? Like give your body like a vigorous physical shake. That can help us disperse some of that traumatic energy that's been built up, the high peak of adrenaline, all that kind of stuff, okay? So a good, like, vigorous shake off mixed in with some exhales can go a long way in terms of physiologically bringing us back to a closer state of homeostasis. Balance, that's the word that I meant. Balance. Need to look up how to say that word. Okay, so the second thing that I want to say is about, that reframing thing, okay? This is very much tied into the survival mindset. So many times when we come away from a situation like that, our default might be to self-blame, okay? Fuck, I am so stupid. How did I get myself into this mess? I should have done things differently. This is my fault, blah, 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 blah. And that, again, is really, really not helpful for reducing the long-term negative emotional impact of a situation like this. So we need to be in a positive mindset, okay? Not toxically positive, but just reframing in a realistic, objective way, okay? So I want us to ask ourselves, what can I be proud of, okay? It can be easy to focus on the things that you did wrong or that you perceive that you did wrong or things that could have been better. But let's actually take a moment to focus on what we did right, okay? So we might not even remember what happened. We might have zero recollection of what happened. But we can still say, I am alive this morning. I don't know what happened and that's scary. But thank God my body survived. Like, thank God my body managed to get me home if you are home. Thank God I am still here and have a chance to get away again if I've woken up in a dangerous place, okay? Thank you, body. Wow, you are so amazing at surviving. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And then the third thing that I want to say as well is talk to a trusted friend as soon as is possible. It doesn't have to be a friend, it could be any trusted person. Be a support person from an organisation, it could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be your diary, although preferably a real actual external person. And then talk to them about what happened, because there is a big energetic shift in when compared to when we hold something inside versus when we externalize it, okay? So let's not keep that trapped within ourselves and hold a lot of shame and blame about what happened. Let's verbalize that externally to a trusted person so that we've got someone we can go and talk to if we need to talk to them about this situation again. If it's been on our mind, maybe we've been a little bit afraid, kind of wondering what happened. It would be really good to establish that open space for dialogue early on so that we know we've got somewhere to go when we need to kind of get these things off of our chest. Okay, so the next one is about memory. This is a new one to me a few days ago. So apparently, studies show, so they say, that playing Tetris can actually help with the impact, the traumatic impact that these situations can have on our memory, okay? So one of the kind of consequences of trauma is that our memories don't file in the same way that they would normally, and so we end up with these kind of memories that are just like islands disconnected in our mind, and we keep coming back to them in our dreams. They come up when we're triggered, stuff like that. So apparently studies show that playing a game of Tetris shortly after a traumatic incident can help us process our memories. So that might be especially useful for a situation where you don't remember what happened. I'm not sure, I don't have any evidence to prove that myself, but apparently studies show that playing a game of Tetris can help with the memory aspect. So another thing that I would say on that memory part is about, can we maybe take some notes about what happened? Can we write down what happened? For example, if you've had a dream the night before and you try to remember what happened, it could be quite hard. But say, for example, you were to just write down one piece of it and you started writing about that piece, we could say with some level of certainty that by writing it down and exploring it more, you might actually trigger yourself to remember other parts and remember other parts. So with the same kind of process with this situation, write down what you can remember, okay? Some important details like, what was there when I woke up? What was I wearing? How did I feel? What was the last thing I remember? Who was with me? Okay, that process itself might help unlock some more memories. But even if it doesn't, it's very, very useful for the kind of like the possible evidence situation in the future, okay? You might not want to report the situation now, but there might be an opportunity in the future where you change your mind, or maybe some other person has come forward and said that something's happened to them, and maybe you were there at the same time, so you've been called in for, to give some evidence. So if you have a written record that you wrote shortly after the incident, so it's going to be kind of more accurate than one that you've written a long time after the incident, that could be really helpful and kind of almost like, something to help future you in case you do change your mind or in case you are involved in the criminal justice process in any way. So make some notes about what happened, write a note on your phone, write something in your diary. And then again, while you're doing that, it's really, really important, I'll just underline it again, to keep checking in with yourself, keep reminding yourself, what are the things I can be proud of. An exercise like that could easily fall into a rabbit hole of, oh my god, I'm so stupid, I made so many mistakes and stuff. We're all human, we don't go on nights out to be super hyper vigilant and be attuned to every single possible thing that's happening, okay? The person who's doing this is trying to not get caught, okay? They have the advantages, they have surprise, they know what they're doing, and you don't know that they're doing it. So let's just be objective about the situation, okay? And let's just kind of be compassionate towards ourselves, be forgiving towards ourselves. Imagine it was a friend that went through this. What would you say to them? Would you chastise them, or would you be supportive and hold space for them? So do the same thing for yourself. Hold that space. Be compassionate, okay? And remind yourself, what is something I can be proud of? Okay, I actually survived that situation. That's incredible. That wasn't a given, so thank you, body, for doing that for us. And then the last thing that I want to say again, on the theme of communities, communities are a large part of safety, and information sharing is a big part of safety. So if that has happened to you, it would be probably quite useful, if you feel comfortable to let the venue know that has happened to you. The last place that you were, maybe send them a message, let them know that you potentially got spiked last night. Just give them a bit of a heads up so that they can maybe check their CCTV, or maybe somebody else reported it, and that useful information could help build a case or something like that. You might want to contact your GP to get some testing to see if you did get spiked. You might want to speak to the police. There are kind of a bunch of different routes. No pressure to do any of that, but it certainly, if you feel comfortable to, it could be really good to share some of that information to help protect others. But again, that's not your responsibility. The only person who's responsible for stopping perpetration is the perpetrator themselves. So don't be beating yourself up if you don't want to do that for whatever reason. But if you do feel in a position to do that, that could be a good thing to do. So just a recap again. Number 1 was shaking off with exhales to kind of get yourself in that clear mindset to deal with any present danger the next day, or even just to kind of bring yourself back to a level just to kind of be like, okay, and disperse some of that kind of traumatic energy that's built up in the body. Number 2 is, what can I be proud of? Okay, let's reframe that situation. What's something I can be proud of that happened in that situation? I can barely remember anything, but hey, at least I survived, okay? And I'm going to still try and live my life anyway. I'm still going to try and be my best self. Even if it takes me some time to recover, I still love myself. I know it's not my fault. And that's a brave decision to say those things to myself, so I can be proud of even that, okay? Number 3, play Tetris, okay? Play Tetris to help process those memories that have been stored in a traumatic context, okay? Again, this is about reducing the long-term negative emotional impact of these situations. So studies say play some Tetris, it might help. And then on that theme of memory, let's also make a suggestion about writing down what happened, okay? Whatever you can remember, let's write it down. That might help jog some other memories, but also help you just kind of get it out of swirling around in your mind and onto some paper, okay? I've said so many times before, that process of externalizing the internal can be so good for helping us move on from repetitive cycling thoughts or whatever it is. So it can really help us just organize what we're thinking. So write something down, and then the final thing is about evidence gathering, information sharing. If you feel comfortable to, it could be really, really useful to let the venue know that something happened to you. Reach out to a trusted friend. I forgot to say that one as well. Reach out to a trusted friend. Open that space to have that dialogue should you need it. And then our final part, information share. Tell the venue, tell the police, tell your GP, whatever you need to do. Or not do, if you don't feel like doing it, then that's okay too. But if you do feel comfortable to do that, that could probably be a useful thing. So there we go. Those are some things that we can do after a situation has happened, that can help us reduce the long-term impact of something like that, and also potentially help make our community safer.